Hi everyone, it's Andy and Joel on the Stay Hungry podcast, and today, Andy, what are we talking about?
The 10 things I wish I'd known when I started up a business.
I only asked you because I forgot the title between pressing record and speaking.
It's okay, I've got the wrong title written down here.
No.
I mean, for a start, it's not what I wish. It's like me and you, if we could turn back the clock to the beginning of business, here's some top tips that we'd strongly advise to take under consideration when you're starting up. Because some things you learn the easy way by investing, blah, blah, blah. Some things you learn the hard way. We're not scared to say that some things you learn the hard way.
And I guess the other bit is sometimes you learn a lesson in life or business, but you don't learn from it. And I think if we can impart anything today, so other people don't have to go through it, or...
What was that famous quote about, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. And some people, they're doing, a form of marketing, like an ad in the paper or whatever. And does it work for you? Oh, I'm not sure, but it's nice to be there and show people on there. Okay, well, fair enough, brand awareness, etc. But 10 years later, do you know if it's doing anything for you? No. It's like, oh my God, well, you're going to get the same results.
Yeah.
Try something else. And like I say, it is about test and measure, which we'll come on to. Should
Nice.
we start with number one?
Go on, hit me.
I'm on a time limit today, I can't waffle. These are in no particular order. What do you think about this one, Joel? Can't do everything on your own just to save money.
Oh, been there, big time. Yeah, I think the best way, a lot of business books I've read, and the kind of Grant Cardones of the world, and
10x, baby.
yeah, and
Is he the only person on Clubhouse still?
well, I don't know,
And Eleanor Cardone.
and Rob Moore.
And I was Easton on it as well.
Yeah, is anyone else? I haven't been on there for ages.
Is he on it to slag off Robert Kiyosaki?
Yeah, maybe, but Robert Kiyosaki talks about this in learning your value, the value of your own time.
I'm just thinking about a funny post I saw. Kim Kiyosaki, is that right? Did a post about how business relationships, like marriage relationships, you've got to invest time and everything.
Aren't you divorced?
And Rob Moore commented saying that.
Rob, if you're listening, I know you're on the podcast soon, but
that made me laugh of a Tuesday evening.
So that's a plug. That's a plug I can get in there. If you're a regular listener to the podcast, we've got the disruptive entrepreneur Rob Moore coming on soon.
Love Rob Moore. And it all started in an airport.
Yeah, you started this.
Birmingham Airport.
Rob did, I think. But
flicking through business books in whatever bookshop it was in the airport. It's like, this life leverage. Oh, that looks pretty good. Almost like 4-hour work week, which we both love. Got it, and that was it. The start of our Rob Moore journey. And how many books have you done now?
I'm sure
more than us.
It's more than 10.
10? Yeah. Bloody hell, right, okay. We need to get our act together. We started book 2 now, haven't we?
Roughly. Yeah.
Got it sketched out.
Stay hungrier.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Right. Are we moving? Oh, no, we haven't even started.
No, I haven't begun my story. So Robert Kiyosaki says about knowing your own worth. And I guess a good way for me to describe this is, I can't be ashamed of this anymore. I've got a cleaner and I've got a gardener. Why have I got a cleaner and why have I got a gardener? Because I can earn more money in the hour it takes me to mow the lawn than I can mowing the lawn myself. So the maths say, obviously there's if you really enjoy mowing the lawn, if it's really good for your mindset, your mental health, mow the lawn. There's other measures of value, but in my case, I don't really like mowing the lawn, so pay someone else to do it.
You don't like cleaning either then?
Not really. Who does? Does anyone actually know? Some people do.
We watched this, such a depressing programme. It was about obsessives, and it had an episode devoted to this woman who was obsessed with cleaning. Oh my God, she had cotton buds down the vent to the back of the telly, like proper, old school tellies, not flat screen. Her kid would come back from school and she'd make him stand on a plastic mat to get his uniform off. She wouldn't spread germs and all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
And it was just like, bloody hell.
So her life would be a lot easier with a cleaner.
So talk about a woman who should have outsourced her cleaning. So she loved cleaning, but I think she had probably...
Yeah, okay. I understand some people are house proud. I'm house proud. I just don't want to... The reality is, if there's something I'd rather be doing, or if I could be earning more in that time period, then I shouldn't be doing that task.
And that's a difficult concept to get across, because we know, to be honest, I think we've probably got people in our families that would say, oh, Who do you think you are? Don't forget where you come from. All that kind of stuff. Just because you're paying to get your car valeted. That's another one.
Yeah,
Do I spend an hour and a half trying to valet my car and do an okay job? Or do I get it done in 10 minutes by paying the professionals to do it?
Yeah, well, there's a prime example. That's something I do myself now because I enjoy it and it's a good way to switch off. So that there's a different type of value in it for me. But in the past, I know I've done tasks that I just shouldn't. Bookkeeping is a good one. Loads of business owners have been through this. Oh, I'll do my own books. And they've done their own books for so long that they're too scared to let go of it. And I mean, even bookkeepers don't like bookkeeping. So
That's just probably true. So I'm going to say in this podcast that the longer you do something, the harder it is to give up. So at the beginning, when money probably is tight because you've invested everything in your website and your stationery and your office, whatever it might be, and you want to do the books, you want to do the selling, you want to do the networking, you want to build. Some people build their website themselves, right? And that's another, that's a whole other podcast. But yeah, if you're going to build your own website, because a number of website providers will let you do it for free, but you work it out and it's taken you 200 hours and the end result's pretty shit, maybe somehow should have found that money to invest in getting it built properly.
that's what I tell Hannah about the garden. Is I can take an hour mowing it and the end result's shit. Well, the gardener can do it in 15 minutes and it looks great.
Why don't you buy one of those robot lawnmowers?
Oh, so
Expensive. But
I did the maths on that as well. It's like, right, 500 quid on a robot lawnmower or 15 quid an hour for a gardener. There's a lot of gardening before that robot lawnmower's paid for itself. Yeah.
Bloody hell. Yeah, so a lot of business coaches and stuff would say that the first person you need to recruit, whether that's employing or outsourcing, is the admin. Those almost £5, £10 an hour tasks that
Get them off your desk.
if you can find the money legally, safely from somewhere to pay someone else to do it, if you've got true value in the business, what you can bring to the business by working on the business, growing the business, marketing the business, that's what you should be spending your time on.
Yeah,
And me and you spent probably quite a bit of time literally running around like blue-ass flies trying to do everything, because on paper it almost looks like you're saving money by doing it.
And you trick yourself. You trick yourself. Oh, I'm working really hard. I've worked really hard today.
Oh, what have you done today, Joel?
Today?
No, just...
I mean, today I played pool.
I remember speaking to a guy who runs a franchise.
Is that someone knocking on the door?
Oh, I don't know. And he'd had a really busy day. Oh, what have you been doing, Bob? Oh, well...
I felt like that was a knock at the door.
Oh, I didn't hear that at all. And there was like... Oh, it can't be, no one's answered. And I was like, oh, that's such a busy day. What have you been up to, Bob? Oh, I've done so much filing. Right, okay. And it's like... And he seemed to think that was a good use of his day. Not knocking anyone who spends a day filing, but it's like, Bob, you told me that business is tough. Surely you can...
That's definitely a knock at the door.
Okay.
Right. I'll be back.
Okay. So, I'll move on to number 2, as the door means knock. Number 2 is...
Oh, sorry then. It's only a bag. Okay.
This is what happens when you order so much stuff from Amazon. So...
Hang on. Arad, there's an edit there. Someone knocked on the door. Let's press a transition to try and fix it. Right, Andy, we're back.
So yeah, there's temptations there. You look at the piece of paper that's got all your columns in and think, well, actually, I could save myself £10 an hour if I do my books. I can save myself £11 an hour if... And it's like, no, if you can, get someone in to do the task that you know you should be doing. Because, yeah, as you rightly said, the longer you do them, bloody hell, the harder it is to let go. So that's number 1. How have we done?
We've spent a good chunk on that. What's number 2?
Number 2, again, in no order, can't rely on organic marketing content alone. Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
We sort of knew that, but not to the extent we know it now.
And it was new when I started this.
Yeah, when did we start Facebook ads?
Not when I started. Facebook ads didn't exist when I started.
I can't think what year they launched now. But yeah, in fact, I had a meeting with a potential client this morning, and they almost wanted to know, should they be looking at paid for marketing, as in like spending money on ads and having an ad budget, or paying someone to look after their organic content. And it was like, I said, well, in an ideal world, there's no either or. You do a bit of both, because the organic content is important, because you spend lots of money on ads. People are probably going to check you out on your website before making a decision to purchase or get in touch. And if they see that, I don't know, you last uploaded a piece of news to your website 6 months ago, or you last posted on Facebook 3 weeks ago, or your posts on Instagram are shit, you've lost them. So organic content is important, but the paid for stuff, man, you're ice skating uphill if it's organic all alone.
Ice skating uphill. Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate.
See, I tried to say the clean version because I'm trying to watch my language, and you've ruined it with the Blade quote now.
It's good.
Mind you, can you ruin anything with the Blade quote?
No, I've improved everything.
Can you ruin anything with the Blade 3 quote?
I can't remember any.
The guy from Prison Break was in that, wasn't he? So Emma.
He's
likes
Dracula,
him.
he's Dracula.
Emma quite likes him, and the other brother. And Triple H is in it as well. Awesome.
Yeah, and Ryan Reynolds. It's quite good
Is
for the
he annoying,
ladies.
Ryan Reynolds, in
You're
that?
very annoying, yeah.
What's that other film he's really annoying in? An X-Men one or something?
Do you not like Deadpool?
Oh no, he's great in that.
Oh, when he's crap Deadpool in Wolverine.
Oh, with the yeah, didn't like. Although our go-to film every Christmas is Just Friends.
Which one's that?
Him and he's a really overweight kid at the beginning, gets bullied.
Oh yeah, that's
becomes
good.
this
Comes back
famous
as a
Hollywood
hunk.
Yeah, really. It goes back to his hometown where everyone still thinks he's the overweight kid.
See, a guilty pleasure. I quite like The Proposal, the one with Sandra Bullock. She's his boss, and she basically says, "Pretend you're my fiance, or you're fired," because her family would see it as she's on the shelf if she goes home at Christmas and hasn't got a fiance, and then they fall in love.
Is it a really guilty pleasure?
Oh, you'll judge me
Could I
massively.
watch it sober?
You've just admitted you like Just Friends. It's
But
a similar thing.
Great thing, because you've been knocking drinking on the head. I've got all this telly that I watched when I'd had a few that can't really recall too much, so we're watching it all again. It's brilliant.
How much of it's actually good now you're sober?
Well, I'm on season 4, 24, and it's brilliant.
I can't remember what point 2 was.
Damn it, Chloe!
Oh, organic content.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, basically.
That was my Jack Bauer impression.
Yeah, if you think, and I mean, I guess 10 years ago when we started in business, you could post on Facebook and it would move the needle, but now it won't. The reality is you've got to be amazing at organic content for it to have impact on your business. Really important for your positioning, to verify your message, to verify your voice. But in terms of where you should be putting your effort, if you can pay even as low as £5 a day to make an ad drive traffic to your website, that's better than doing organic content with links.
Yeah, actually, the results compared to how many organic posts you'd have to get out there,
Yeah.
almost immeasurable. I mean, sometimes when you start a business, say you haven't got any money, shoe leather, hustling, and a mobile phone is almost all you need. But as cool as it sounds, you just can't hustle forever. You'll keel over before you get to where you want to get. It's not scalable, and that's what we're talking about. And our whole marketing to sales system is about growing a business, protecting it, and scaling it.
Yeah.
And you need all three. Right, point number 3. You got to be the weakest person in the room. Who you hang around with matters a lot.
So I think this applies to business and personal. We were talking about this before the podcast, that hang around with negative people, you'll end up being a negative person. Hang around with positive people, you end up being a positive person. It's as simple as that.
That's why I'm so chirpy then. It's all the time we spent together.
Hang around with successful people, and success can be measured in different ways. So if you spend all your time with people who are good at football, chances are you'll get better at football. If you spend all your time with people who are entrepreneurial and wealthy, chances are you'll become more entrepreneurial and more wealthy. And
so this ties into almost point number 1 about a lot of people won't understand and support you in this. They go, oh, don't forget where you're from and all that kind of stuff. Because you can almost feel a bit like, shit, I'm actually like the best footballer in the team, and I don't want to be because I'm not learning everything. Everyone else is, which is great. I'm doing my bit, but for me to get better, I've got to be the worst footballer.
Football is a great analogy for it as well, because if you think of, like, it's happening with Jack Grealish at Aston Villa at the moment. So he's a big player in the football scene at the minute. Probably going to go to Man City this summer.
Where's he now?
Aston Villa. So he's the best player at Aston Villa.
I know that.
Yeah, he's the best player at Aston Villa. if he goes to Man City, he won't be the best player at Man City, but he will become a better player because of it.
How much are they paying for him?
Wow, there's been all sorts of talk of 100 million and
Was it Trevor Brooking who was the first £1 million?
yeah.
Sure, I remember watching that on Blue Peter or something.
Showing
It's
your
like
age.
Scandalous that people are going to pay £1 million for a footballer.
Yeah, supply and demand.
It's amazing.
But yeah, and
Give me an example about business then. You've got to be the weakest person in the room.
so I was going to put this out there. So I used to do an awful lot of breakfast networking.
That's where I first met you.
It is, and it's.
I remember that shiny suit still.
Winkle
You
pickers.
still got that?
No,
It was great.
yeah, no, I haven't still got it. It went as soon as I could afford a better one. But at that networking club, that's obviously where we met. When I joined that networking club, I was the smallest business in the room and the least experienced business in the room. Roll forward 5 years later, I was probably, in terms of actual business owners, because at networking you tend to get lots of junior accountants and junior solicitors, I was probably the largest business in the room and one of the more experienced business owners, purely because of the scenarios I put myself in and the things I've read and the training I've done. But I still kept going. And you and I had quite frank conversations about it, where you were saying, look, you must just be doing this out of the kindness of your heart now, Joel, because you're gaining nothing. It's not moving your business forward, it's not moving your friendships forward, it's not good for your mindset. And probably took you a year to convince me to jack in.
I've done it as well. Luckily, the tipping point for me was when you stand up and you do your elevator pitch, your 60 seconds or whatever. A lady got up and she sang hers in a gospel style, and that was it for me. I think that was the last time I went to a traditional kind of breakfast network. And don't get me wrong, it's still a good vehicle for a lot of people. And when the country properly opens up, we'll be doing networking in some way, shape, or form.
We're both booked to go to an event in September that has lunches with the speakers as part of it and with other delegates. That's no different.
So, I mean, networking is awesome, but it's the room you're in. And like you say, if a large proportion of the room are non-decision makers, junior assistants, accountants, lawyers, it doesn't matter what industry, but they're there representing a company, but they've got no decision making, so they can accept business, but they certainly can't pass business. It's like,
and they can't teach you anything.
Can't learn anything.
That's
which sounds. I know what my mum would say. Oh, that's very selfish.
You can learn anything from anyone, Andrew.
Very selfish, Andrew. That's what she'd say. You've changed. Don't forget where you're from.
But that's different. If you choose, like something you may choose to do as a business owner, maybe you choose to go and lecture for free 1 hour a week at a business school, and that's your way of giving back. That's a good use of your time. Go into a networking club where you're no longer gaining anything, and potentially you can't buy anything from anyone anymore either, because they're not operating in the same space as you. All you're doing is wasting your time.
Yeah, if you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and that could be online as well. When you look at your Facebook friends, your LinkedIn connections, the stuff you're seeing in your feed, if that doesn't educate, inspire, or entertain you, maybe you need to have a close look at your online contacts.
I just get Goggins all the time now on my YouTube. I go onto YouTube and just get
stay hard
smashed with Goggins, and obviously the more I watch of it, the more I get given. But it's entertaining. But sometimes I need something a bit softer.
There's certainly no feeling sorry for yourself. If you want
to
Have you read his book yet?
No.
Very good. Very good.
What's next?
I'm still on number 4. If I go back, probably should have got some kind of coach or mentor.
100%.
Should talk about athletes again, couldn't we? Sports people.
Comes back to affordability. Everyone in a startup business say, well, if I could afford a mentor, I'd get one. But not all coaches and mentors are paid for. That's a really important point. You can DM somebody on Instagram and they can inadvertently become your mentor, just with a bit of back and two. Chances are there's someone in your circle already who's had success. It might not be in business, it could be in sports, it could be in anything, but they will be able to impart knowledge to you that you don't have. But yeah, I mean, going to the library, you could get this. But
I mean, that does, to be honest, almost lead on to number 5, which is probably should have read more, not just about business and marketing, but mindset. So that learning from a person, or in fact a book, podcast, YouTube, whatever floats your boat, it's important. And like when I mentioned about athletes, like every athlete or every footballer, there'll be a manager, a coach, and to be honest, it won't probably just be one coach. They'll have a coach for this, a coach for that, a mentor for this.
Oh yeah, you think of a Premier League football team, they'll have a sports psychologist, they'll have a fitness coach, they'll probably have a physiotherapist, they'll have mindset coach, they'll have attack coach, defence coach, free kick coach.
I mean, if you told me 10 years ago about the importance of mindset, I just thought it was a total load of bollocks.
So, do you think that's a journey a lot of business owners have to go on? I was thinking about this the other day. When you work by yourself, particularly when you're starting out and it's you against the world, you become very driven and very blinkered, I'd say, quite quickly, because you've got to push hard to make ends meet. But that can also make you quite closed. And actually, when you reach the next step, the bit where everything's starting to pay for itself, you can afford to go on holiday again, maybe you've got a mortgage or whatever, you actually need to become really open-minded, and that means consuming as much information as you can, be it books, clients, staff, mentors, coaches. And that's a massive shift, and I think a lot of businesses fail at that point, where they go from an individually driven enterprise where you're not up for debate, you're not up for discussion, you're certainly not willing to learn things because you know best. And you can be very, very successful at that. We know car dealerships, we know all sorts of businesses that have been driven by a single person being completely blinkered. I mean, you could argue Elon Musk has done it at Tesla, just completely gone for it. But a lot of businesses fail at that point where they need to bring in outside expertise and need to listen to a coach, think about their mindsets, think about their physical health. I got a personal trainer last year to help me cope with the things I'd have to deal with in business, not to help me necessarily be fitter and healthier.
I do think there's a lot more awareness about it all now, but I still think there are some business owners you just can't teach. They know everything, and it's almost a sign of defeat. Why do I need a men's mindset coach? I'm really positive. Why do I need to even outsource my marketing? I'm great at my marketing. It's like, well, you just told me your business is shit, so you can't be that good. And it isn't admitting defeat to ask for help. And that, like I say, that could be someone you DM on Instagram, or it could be someone you pay for on an ongoing basis. But generally speaking, most successful people, no matter what field they're in, will have some kind of coach supporting them. So then number 5 about reading more, absolutely, reading, podding, whatever, everything you need to know, to be honest, about marketing and I think in business are on the bookshelves here, and our guys know, well, they're part of a book club. When they come on board, there's no choice about it. In fact, there's 2 hours put aside in each person's diary here to
every week.
Yeah. Number 7. Let's get number 6. Employ people who are better than you at specific skills.
Yeah. Very tricky, because
you want to be top dog.
Well, yeah. There's an element of wanting to be top dog, and there's also talent acquisition, finding people who are, chances are, if you've managed to build your business to a decent size, you're probably quite good at whatever it is you do. So then you've got to pick the areas where you're missing and find the right people, get them to understand your culture. But I think things like client communications, maybe that's where you and I aren't at our strongest, but we've got people in the team who love that. So it's, and as we grow, we've got someone joining us in early September who, for fingers crossed, touch wood, is an absolute marketing beast, and he should come in and be better than any of us. But it doesn't mean he will be better than the Stay Hungry method, but he will bring skills that...
I remember reading a story about Henry Ford, and basically the government were trying to shut him down, allegedly, because he had a monopoly on basically car building in the US. And almost like trying to catch him out, these federal judges or whatever went to his offices and were firing all these questions at him. And there were some questions he didn't know the answer to, and his point was, no, like, I can press a buzzer, and I can have someone up here in the office within 30 seconds who'll have the answer to any question you throw at me. And that was his point, and obviously he won, and they didn't shut him down. But that's the thing, and it's hard as a business owner, that control thing again. You don't have to be the best at everything.
Can we get a buzzer?
Well, that'd be really cool, wouldn't it?
Just press a buzzer and someone will come and...
Like a bat phone. That'd be even cooler.
I used to call my old phone the bat phone. It makes me shiver now. It's got all the numbers on it that I've blocked that I don't want to speak to.
But yeah, to get someone in, to get people into your business who are better, like, you know, even if you're great at doing the books, which we talked about in point number 1, you want to get someone in who's better at doing the books than you.
Yeah, there's always someone out there better than you at whatever it is. And as an entrepreneur, business owner, it's your responsibility to find them and bring them into your team.
It's almost like being what we talk about, being the weakest person in the room. You know, if you're going to employ staff but none of them have skills that are better than yours, it's like, well, you're missing a massive trick there.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 7, boring but important, strict terms and conditions.
Yeah, mate.
Pandemic taught us that.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine the scenario where a pandemic hits your business in March, and in April, all your clients are gone. That'll tell you why you need terms and conditions.
Yeah, and obviously so many businesses, you know, because obviously it affected certain industries more than others, of course, you know, restaurants shutting overnight and so on. But there are lots of service-based businesses out there that their clients just stopped, and there's no piece of paper. You know, they just got told unprecedented times. I mean, how many times that's been quoted? And you need to look after yourself. And I wish everything could be done on a handshake. In fact, you can't even shake hands anyway, on an elbow bump. But it's just clearer to get everything written down in paper. This is what I'm going to do for you, and when. This is what you pay me in return, and when.
Yeah.
And job done, and no unpleasantness, and hopefully no small print either. But just it's fair for everyone. And sometimes you can, and obviously I guess there's, you know, this sounds personal, but there's personal bits in all of what we're saying, because some things, again, we have learned the hard way. When you really bend over backwards to help someone, and then for whatever reason, it could be a pandemic, it's no one's fault, they bin you. Again, it's not that client's fault for binning you, they've just got to respond to the market and what happens. But you shouldn't bear the brunt of that either. And so it's just protecting yourself as much as you protect and look after the people you help.
Yeah, as long as people come into it with their eyes open. You know, our terms and conditions aren't small print that's hidden away. It's like, well, here they are, you can read them. Everyone is coming into that transaction with their eyes open. This is your minimum, this is where we're at, this is what we expect. Do you agree to these? If not, fine, we won't do business, but it's important.
Yeah. So I guess businesses, or a lot of businesses and business models go one way or the other there. They do no contract and no tie-in. So it's literally pay us every month. When you want to leave, just cancel and then you're off. Or you go down the contracted route. But I should stress, I suppose, it's only worth going down the contract route if you're willing to enforce it, because otherwise it's just a waste of time. You've just paid your solicitor lots of money for nothing.
And we've been there too, but we'll save that for another podcast.
Yeah,
enforcing it, not wasting our money with solicitor. She was great.
Right, number 8, say no to the wrong potential business. Oh, I've got a checkbook here, John. I want to work with you. Come on. I'll give you 10 grand. Give me 10 grand.
I'm still not that good at this, and
saying no. We could do a podcast about saying no.
Yeah,
saying no is a whole other thing.
But if other people out there can learn from me on this, if your gut feeling is this business will be bad for you, doesn't matter how much money that person's offering you, and that's an important point. No amount of money will be worth it if it doesn't pan out.
We've seen a lot of franchise, and to be honest, we're big fans of franchises, but we've seen a number of franchises go tits up because the franchisor accepts every checkbook that's waved in front of him. Someone's willing to give him or her thousands of pounds to buy their territory or region, whatever. You think, actually, I don't think this person's going to be a good fit for my franchise, my name, everything I ploughed into setting up this network. Thanks, but no thanks. I've got to think of the big picture.
Yeah.
Very hard to do. And again, that's why so many franchises have gone south, because they end up with too many of the wrong people in the network.
Yeah, values are a big one that comes into this. If people don't align with your values, you'll never make it work. Even if you really want to, even if you think, oh, they're paying us a fortune. I mean, we used to call it a dickhead charge, DHC. People that
forgotten about that.
people that pay double or triple because you know they're going to be a pain in the arse, but it doesn't work.
No amount of money is worth it. If you turn your emails on and you see a client's name and your first thought is, oh God, that's just not good. And whether they're paying double the price or what, that's just not good. And
Do you hear that? It sounds like there was an elephant upstairs.
and we do feel your pain if you're in that situation, because again, who wants to say no to money that's being waved under your nose? But it will turn around to bite you.
Yeah. What's next?
Next. Number 9. Probably wish I hadn't put email on my phone. I suppose that could also be giving clients, suppliers, the world and his wife your mobile number. Make yourself too accessible, Joel.
Yeah. I haven't had email on my phone now for a year.
Is it wonderful?
It's a dream. It's an absolute
We
dream.
did it years ago, then got back into bad habits.
You were very good at one point
I've only got Gmail on my phone now.
for emergencies.
That's
Yeah, I've got Hotmail on mine, but that's literally to tell me if my Amazon deliveries have been delivered. Nothing work related. Yeah, I used to give my mobile number to everyone I met. I used to give my email address to everyone. You give out a business card.
I'd say most business cards I see and most email signatures I see have that person's mobile number. Why? Is that the only way of getting hold of them? Because there are some people, no matter how strict you might think you are in your onboarding process, who will take the piss. If you say to someone, only call me between 9 and 5, 90% of the people, not maliciously, will call you at 6.
Somebody messaged me on LinkedIn at the weekend.
Okay.
I'll let you guess who they are.
Okay.
And said, here's my mobile number if you ever fancy a catch up.
Right. Okay.
Their first name begins with J and their second name begins with J.
Ah.
Yeah, I haven't called.
And to be honest, some people have got really funny. What do you mean you won't give me your mobile number? I'll only call you in an emergency.
I'll give you a mobile number if you want, it just won't be mine.
give my mother. She says no one ever calls her. Yeah, it's again, when someone calls you at 8 o'clock on a Friday night, they're not deliberately trying to wind you up. They just maybe that's when they're working and assume or think, oh well, he'll probably.
I had a dilemma with this at the weekend, or maybe Friday, and we're absolutely right in this advice: is don't bloody be accessible to everyone all the time, however you do it, but just don't be, because it'd be the breaking of you. But someone within one of our circles, so someone who knows one of our coaches and friends with, put a bit of a call out saying, I'm really struggling at the moment, can I speak to any of you guys? And some of our peers in that group put their mobile numbers on there. And selfishly or not, I've messaged this guy separately, but selfishly, I thought, bloody hell, I'd never put my mobile number in a public forum like that.
I would either.
Yeah.
And some people might think that's pretty harsh, but I guess it's because we've been there. We've been slave to our phones, evenings, weekends, which is time with your family. It's time doing what you want. And to be honest, unless you're a bloody heart surgeon or something, there's not many emergencies. There's not many occasions where someone it's okay for them to call you at 8 o'clock.
I'll give a good example. And if she's listened to the podcast, I've already told you this was out of order, so deal with it. You gave someone we know your mobile number because you'd invited them to a sports dinner, in case you couldn't find the car park, and then to obviously let you know he was there so he could come and join us on the table. And you said to him in the message, because I saw the message, please don't use this number for any other purposes, this is my personal mobile number. Roll forward 2.5 years later, and they had a problem that was no cause of ours, and you get a phone call on that mobile at the weekend asking you to fix something that wasn't your fault. That's why you should be protective of your email and your mobile.
And the thing is, if you decide to give your details out, you've got to accept that that's your fault. So when a client back in the day did call me at 8 o'clock on a Friday night, I wasn't rude, but I was like, I'm just about to have dinner with my kids. You know, it's not right. You contact me at 8 o'clock. He's like, well, whose fault is it? Is it mine for calling or you for answering? And it's like, and then it became crystal clear. It's my fault. It's my responsibility. So people want my mobile number now. Just no.
Yeah, because if you hadn't answered, I guess, and then he'd emailed to say, I was really unhappy that you didn't answer that call to me, it was important, then you could fire back, I was having dinner with my kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the next one?
Next one. Last but not least. Right. Not responding to requests in the evenings, weekends. Well, that's happening,
Okay.
isn't it? Are those two the same things? Email
So-
on your phone?
If your business is roughly 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, this is who we're talking to, aren't we?
Oh, this is doing work, isn't it? Not
Yeah. So, I don't know, solicitor, accountant, marketing company. If generally you work between the hours of 8 and 6, Monday to Friday, if you start replying to emails at 10 at night or 7:30 on a Sunday morning, people will expect to be able to access you at 10 at night or 7:30 on a Sunday morning. And we've worked with businesses on a marketing point where we've said to their CEOs, their directors, tell your team to stop emailing at 9 at night, because one, it gives the impression you're accessible, and two, it gives the impression that you won't be doing as good a job as you would be if you were working in normal hours. Whether or not that's true, the perception is, if you're working on my stuff at 2 in the morning, you might not be doing as good a job as you could be if it was normal time.
Yeah. I remember designing and writing a web page for a client on a Saturday and emailing it to them on Saturday night. And I guess because, like most business people, they had all their work emails and everything on their phone. They responded to me as well. And for quite a while, they try and contact me at the weekends. Again, totally my fault. And it just takes that bit of, I guess, retraining. But it's much easier if you get those parameters set at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then everyone's happy.
Hugely.
That's all people want, clarity.
So hopefully we've given a bit of insight into things that will help people early on in their business, and maybe 20 years into their business. But
Yeah, they're difficult things to do, but when you can get them right, pay themselves off in spades.